What's up, everybody? Welcome in to break number 423 BD. This is Topps Chrome F1. This is the qualifying lot boxes. We got 20 of them on the, or we got a case here. Yeah, 20 boxes. Let's go. One, two, three, four, five, and 5 is 10. And 10 more. $20 boxes. Box number 1 on the table. Good luck, everybody. What's up, big man? How are you, Junior? I hear you, buddy. Yeah, absolutely. KC, what's up, man? Good luck to everybody. Marcella, good luck to you also over there on YouTube. Appreciate everybody for being here. Thank you for everybody for getting your payments in. Appreciate that very much. Box number 1. Daniel Ricciardo on the Speed Demons. That's Santiago Ramos on the Ray Wave. Max Verstappen on the Refractor. Fernando Alonso on the helmet. Future Stars Refractor. I think it was this one. Nope. Neither one. Alexander Albon. We got Paul Aaron. Paul Aaron on the Ray Wave. Future Star Tommy Smith on the Refractor. Recharged of Fernando Alonso. And Tommy Smith on the Refractor. Second half. Oscar Piastri on the Speed Demons. Alexander Albon on the Ray Wave. Future Stars of Sophia. Refractor of Oscar Piastri. Max Verstappen on the car. On the Speckled Future Star to $2.99. Speckled Future Stars, that's to $2.99. 116 out of $2.99. That is Leonardo Fornaroli. Leonardo Fornaroli. That is Lance Stroll on the recharge. Lance Stroll. That is Sergio Perez on the Ray Wave. Sergio Perez on the refractor. And on the X-Fractor final lap checkered flag, we have Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton. Box number 2. All right, box number 2, here we go. Esteban Ocon. That is Fernando Alonso on the Ray Wave. Future Stars of Nikita Bedrin, refractor. Recharged of Lando Norris. Fernando Alonso on the Speed Demon. That is Oscar Piastri on the Ray Wave. Fernando Alonso on the refractor. Logan Sargent. Logan Sargent on the portrait. And Future Stars Max Esterson on the refractor. Recharged of Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc on the recharge. Lewis Hamilton on the Ray Wave. Carlos Sainz on the refractor. Zane Maloney on the portrait. We have a pink of Fernando Alonso. Fernando Alonso, 40 out of 75. That is 40 out of 75 on the pink. George Russell Speed Demon. Behind that, we got Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen on the Ray Wave. Lando Norris on the Refractor. Logan Sargent on the helmet. On our X-Fractor checkered flag, that is Yuki Tsunoda. Yuki Tsunoda. X-Fractor checkered flag. Box number 3. Excuse me. All right, box number 3. Here we go. That's Lewis Hamilton on the Speed Demon. Nice card. That is Casper Satuka. Casper Satuka on the Ray Wave Future Star. Legend Michael Schumacher on the Refractor. Kush Mani on the Portrait. Future Star Alexander Dunn. Get her done. Lewis Hamilton on the helmets. That is Lando Norris on the Ray Wave. Nico Hulkenberg on the Refractor. Carlos Sainz on the Portrait. And Lando Norris on the Refractor. Lance Stroll on the Speed Demon. Christian Mansell on the Ray Wave. Legend Nigel Mansell on the Refractor. Sergio Perez on the helmet. We have pink again. No, this is magenta. Magenta, 17 out of 225. 17 out of 225 of Zane Maloney. Zane Maloney. Dennis Hogger. Dennis Hogger on the Portrait. That's Max Verstappen on the Ray Wave. That is Andrea Kimi Antaloni on the refractor. Recharged of Esteban Ocon. Esteban Ocon. And Arvid Lindblad. Arvid Lindblad on the X-Fractor checkered flag. All of the Ray Waves will be top loaded. All of the Future Stars will be penny sleeved. And a bunch of the refractors will be top loaded and penny sleeved. Just I'm working alone today, so that will all be done at the end of the break. We will recap all of our checkered flags and all of our numbered cards. Recap the checkered flags and the numbered cards for you guys. And if we have any case hits. Looks like we have an orange to 25 coming. Orange to 25. Box number 4, here we go. Oliver Bearman. Oliver Bearman on the portrait. We got Oscar Piastri on the Ray Wave. That is Ritomo Miyata. Ritomo Miyata on the refractor. Charles Leclerc on the portrait. That is Nico Hulkenberg. George Russell on the helmet. George Russell on the helmet. That is a Ray Wave of Sergio Perez. Sergio Perez. That is a Logan Sargent refractor. Logan Sargent on the refractor. Kevin Magnussen on the, I'm going to say portrait car portrait. And Zaho Guianyu. Zaho Guianyu on the refractor. Sorry if I don't get the names right. I am trying. Second half, box 4. That's Nico Hulkenberg on the Speed Demons. Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo on the Ray Wave. Logan Sargent on the refractor. Carlos Sainz on the helmet. Our orange is Gabriel Mini. Gabriel Mini, 21 out of 25. That's 21 out of 25. Lando Norris on the portrait. That is Yuki Tsunoda on the Ray Wave. Legend Ayrton Senna. Ayrton Senna on the Legend refractor. That is Valtteri Bottas. Valtteri Bottas on the recharged. And Max Verstappen on the X-Fractor checkered flag. Box number 5. Box number 5. All right, box number 5. Here we go, box number 5. That is a recharged of Alex Albon. Alexander Albon. That is Pierre Gasly. Pierre Gasly on the Ray Wave. Lewis Hamilton on the refractor. Lewis Hamilton on the portrait. Zhu Guanyu. Zhao Guanyu on the Speed Demon. That is Mari Boya. Mari Boya on the Ray Wave. Gabriel Mini on the refractor. Charles Leclerc on the helmet. And Kevin Magnussen on the refractor. Carlos Sainz on the portrait. That is Charles Leclerc on the Ray Wave. Future star Joshua Dirksen refractor. Enzo Fittipaldi on the portrait. That is a magenta to 225. 48 out of 225 of Taylor Bernard. Taylor Bernard. Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo on the helmet. That is Roman Stanek. Roman Stanek on the Ray Wave. Juan Manuel Correa on the refractor. Lewis Hamilton on the portrait. And that is Max Verstappen on the award winners. X-Fractor checkered flag. number 6. All right, box number 6. Here we go. Valtteri Bottas. Valtteri Bottas on the Speed Demons. That is Logan Sargent on the Ray Wave. Kush Manine on the Refractor. Nico Hulkenberg on the Portrait. Pierre Gasly on the helmet. That is Legend Ayrton Senna on the Ray Wave. Legend Ayrton Senna Refractor. Fernando Alonso on the Portrait. Oliver Bearman on the Refractor. Lando Norris, Speed Demon. That is Future Stars, Rafael Villagomez on the Ray Wave. Future Star, Roman Stanek on the Refractor. Helmet of Oscar Piastri. On the Aqua numbered to 150. That is Santiago Ramos, Future Star. That is 49 out of 150. 49 out of 150. Daniel Ricciardo on the Portrait. Michael Schumacher on the Legend Ray Wave. Legend Nigel Mansell on the Refractor. That is a Recharge Sergio Perez. And our X-Fractor checkered flag is Oscar Piastri. Box number 7. wrappers suck. All right, box number 7, here we go. Max Verstappen on the Speed Demon. Max Verstappen on the Ray Wave. Future Stars of Lorenz Van Hoppen on the Refractor. That is Oscar Piastri on the Portrait. Recharged of Pierre Gasly. That is Esteban Ocon on the Ray Wave. Legend of Alain Prost. Alain Prost, Refractor. Valtteri Bottas on the Portrait. And Gabriel Bortoleto. There we go, Bortoleto. All right, second half, box 7. Jack Crawford on the Portrait. That's Logan Sargent on the Ray Wave. Future Star, Enzo Fittipaldi, Refractor. Recharged Carlos Sainz. That is to 299. That is Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen to 299. That's 281 out of 299 on the Speckle. Kevin Magnussen. That is Zach O'Sullivan on the Ray Wave. Lewis Hamilton Refractor. Pierre Gasly Portrait. And rookie future star Sophia Floresh. Sophia Floresh on the X-Fractor checkered flag. Box number 8. All right, box number 8. Here we go. Lance Stroll refractor portrait. That's Zach O'Sullivan on the Ray Wave. Future star Paul Aaron refractor. Sergio Perez on the helmet. Dennis Hodger on the portrait. Dino Begnovic on the Ray Wave. Santiago Ramos on the refractor. Recharged of Esteban Ochan. And Logan Sargent on the refractor. Max Verstappen. That is Joseph Maria Marti. Joseph Maria Marti on the Ray Wave. Future star Dino Benagovic on the refractor. Oscar Piastri. That is Kush Manai to 299, 64 out of 299 on the speckled. That's Pierre Gasly on the recharge. That is Cian Shields on the Ray Wave. Max Esterson on the refractor. Valtteri Bottas on the portrait. And Esteban Ocon on the X-Fractor checkered flag. Box 9. All right, box number 9. Alexander Albon on the Speed Demon. There's Sophia Floresh on the Future Stars Ray Wave. Richard Verschoor refractor. Guan Yu on the helmet. Carlos Sainz on the portrait. That is Arvid Lindblad on the Ray Wave. Esteban Ocon on the refractor. That is Guanyu on the recharged. And Oliver Gauthier on the refractor. Pierre Gasly on the Speed Demon. Charles Leclerc on the Ray Wave. Amari Cordial. Amari Cordial on the refractor. Esteban Ocon on the portrait. On the Aqua to 150. Aqua to 150. Oliver Gauthier. Oliver Gauthier. Gauthier. Oscar Piastri. Oscar Piastri on the recharge. Sergio Perez on the Ray Wave. Carlos Sainz refractor. Paul Aaron portrait. And Enzo Fittipaldi. Enzo Fittipaldi on the X-Factor checkered flag. X-Factor checkered flag. Box number 10. Box number 10. All right, box number 10. Here's our halfway point. Pierre Gasly on the refractor. Speed Demon, excuse me. Lance Stroll. Lance Stroll on the Ray Wave. Lewis Hamilton refractor. Esteban Ocon on the portrait. Recharged of Oscar Piastri. That is Max Verstappen on the Ray Wave. Max on the refractor. That is Paul Aaron on the portrait. That is Fernando Alonso on the refractor. Esteban Ocon portrait. Zane Maloney. Zane Maloney on the Ray Wave. Future star Casper Sutuka. That's Lando Norris. Lando Norris on the recharged. On the magenta to 225, there is Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton to 225. That is numbered 37 out of 225. 37 out of 225 on the magenta. Fernando Alonso Speed Demon. There is the Oracle Red Bull team to the Oracle spot on the Ray Wave. Lando Norris Refractor. Logan Sargent Portrait. And that's a Max Verstappen on the F1 Sprint winner. F1 Sprint winner, X-Fractor, checkered flag. All right, that's your first half, guys. I got a drink, and we are ready for second half. Second half, box 11. Here we go. All right, here we go. Box number 11. Box number 11. Jack Crawford on the portrait. That's a Future Stars of Charlie Wurz. Charlie Wurz on the Ray Wave. Max Verstappen on the refractor. Recharged of Carlos Sainz. Kevin Magnussen. That is Colin Voisin. Colin Voisin on the Ray Wave. Future Star Refractor of Mari Boya. Pierre Gasly. And Joseph Loki on the refractor. Joseph Loki. Recharged of Logan Sargent. Logan Sargent on the recharged. That is Joshua Dufek on the Future Stars Ray Wave. Joshua Dufek. Fernando Alonso Refractor. Sergio Perez on the portrait. Aqua of Esteban Ocon. Esteban Ocon on the Aqua. This one's numbered to 150. This is 48 out of 150. 48 out of 150. Enzo Fittipaldi on the Speed Demon. Lewis Hamilton on the pole position, Ray Wave. Future Stars, Joseph Loki, Refractor. Yuki Tsunoda on the helmet. And Max Verstappen on the base card, X-Fractor, checkered flag. Max Verstappen. Box number 12. Here we go with box 12. Nico Hulkenberg on the Speed Demon. That is Future Stars, Mari Boya on the Ray Wave. Sergio Perez Refractor. Carlos Sainz on the helmet. Lando Norris on the portrait. That is Joseph Loki on the Ray Wave. Isaac Hajar on the Refractor. Valtteri Bottas on the Recharged. And Valtteri Bottas on the Refractor. Logan Sargent Speed Demons. Future Star Joseph Loki on the Ray Wave. Future Star Matias Zagazeta on the Refractor. Alexander Albon. That is a green to 99. Award winners. Theo Porchare on the award winners to 99. This is 12 out of 99. 12 out of 99. Max Verstappen on the Recharged. Pole position of Max. Victor Martins on the Refractor. Isaac Hajar portrait. And that's Charles Leclerc on the X-Fractor checkered flag. Box number 13. All right, box 13. They're stepping on the refractor. Carlos Sainz on the Speed Demon. Enzo Fittipaldi. We got Casper Tezuka. Future Star Mari Boya refractor. Daniel Ricciardo. Joseph Loki refractor. Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton on the Ray Wave. Lewis Hamilton on the Ray Wave. Oscar Piastri. Oh wow, we got two. We got two in this one. Is this numbered? This one? Amari Cordio on the Future Stars. X-Fractor checkered flag. Logan Sargent on the Speed Demon. Jack Crawford on the Ray Wave. Fernando Alonso on the Refractor. Daniel Ricciardo on the Speed Demon. Speckled Alexander Albon. Alexander Albon to 299 on the Speckles. That is 296 out of 299. 296 out of 299. Fernando Alonso on the helmet. That is Gabriel Mini, Gabriel Mini on the Ray Wave. And that is Piotr Wisnicki. Piotr Wisnicki on the X-Fractor checkered flag. Box number 14. here we go. Box 14. Logan Sargent Speed Demon. That's Cian Shields. Cian Shields on the Ray Wave. Nikita Bedrin on the Refractor. Alexander Albon. Max Verstappen, recharged. Legend, Alan Prost. Future star, Rafael Villagomez, refractor. Isaac Hodger. Michael Schumacher, refractor. Oliver Behrman. Future star, Tim Tramnitz. Tim Tramnitz on the Ray Wave. That is Sophia Floresh on the refractor. Kevin Magnuson, recharged. On the magenta to 225, Nico Hulkenberg. Nico Hulkenberg. That is 71 out of 225. 71 out of 225. Dennis Hodger. Ray Wave of Carlos Sainz. That's Juan Manuel Correa, Future Star Refractor. Oscar Piastri. And that is Zach O'Sullivan. Zach O'Sullivan on the X-Fractor checkered flag. Box number 15. That is George Russell on the portrait. That is Pierre Gasly on the Ray Wave. This is box 15 in case I didn't say it. Fernando Alonso refractor. That is Yuki Tsunoda on the recharged. Esteban Ocon, Speed Demon. David Coulthard, Legend, Ray Wave. Award winners, Theo Portier. Lance Stroll. And that is Valtteri Bottas refractor. Valtteri Bottas on the refractor. Recharged of Nico Hulkenberg. Nico Hulkenberg. That is a future star of Tassanapol in, because I cannot say the last name. I tried all night the other night to say the last name. It's not happening. Sorry, guys. Yuki Tsunoda. Yuki Tsunoda again. That is Hua Guanyu. Hua Guanyu? I think I got that right. On the pink to 75. 43 out of 75. Victor Martins. That is Max Verstappen on the Ray Wave. Fittipaldi on the refractor. Verstappen on the helmet. And Lando Norris. Lando Norris on the Grand Prix Driver of the Day. X-Fractor checkered flag. Lando Norris. Box number 16. Box number 16. All right, box number 16, excuse me, 16, 1-6. Recharged, Logan Logan Sargent. That is Paul Aaron. Paul Aaron on the Future Star Ray Wave. Charlie Wurz on the refractor. Sergio Perez portrait. That is Enzo Fittipaldi on the Speed Demon. Santiago Ramos on the Ray Wave. Future Star Victor Martins refractor. Yuki Tsunoda on the helmet. And Tassanapol in on the refractor. Speed Demon, Oliver Behrman. That is Future Stars, Dino Beganovic on the Ray Wave. Sebastian Montoya, refractor. Charles Leclerc. On the Future Stars to 225. That's Lorenz Van Hopen. Lorenz Van Hopen. That is numbered 78 out of 225. 78 of 225. George Russell on the helmet. George Russell helmet. That's Max Esterson on the Ray Wave. Future Star Zane Maloney refractor. Kevin Magnuson. X-Fractor. Checkered flag of Sergio Perez. Sergio Perez, Grand Prix driver of the day. Box number 17. 4 to go, guys. 4 to go. All right, box number 17. Oliver Behrman. Oliver Behrman. That is Hoyu Guanyu. Carlos Sainz on the refractor. That's Kevin Magnuson on the recharged. Future Star Sion Shields. That is Dennis Hodger on the Speed Demon. Fernando Alonso on the Ray Wave. Verstappen on the refractor. Piastri on the portrait. And Verstappen on the refractor. Daniel Ricciardo. That is Ritomo Miata. Lando Norris on the refractor. Guanyu on the portrait. I got a legend of Ayrton Senna. Ayrton Senna to 299. 272 out of 299. Sergio Perez. That is Logan Sargent on the award-winning Ray Wave. George Russell on the refractor. Kevin Magnuson on the helmet. And Sonoda, Yuki Sonoda on the X-Fractor checkered flag. X-Factor checkered flag of Yuki Sonoda. Box number 18. In case you're just getting here, I want to thank you again for being part of the break. Second off, we will recap all numbered cards and all checkered flags, all X-Fractor checkered flags at the end of the break. All of the future stars, ray waves, and refractors will be taken care of after the break since I'm here alone tonight. I got all of the ray waves will be top loaded. All of the future stars will be penny sleeved, as well as all of the refractors, and a bunch of the refractors will also be top loaded. So, cards will be taken care of, just not right now. Well, of course they're being taken care of right now, but here we go with box number 18. That is Sonoda on the Speed Demon. That is Noel Leon on the Future Stars Ray Wave. That is Sergio Perez on the Refractor, Future Star Nikita. Max Verstappen on the Portrait. We have an orange to 25 coming. Orange to 25. It is Alexander Albon on the 20 to 25 on the Portrait. On the Portrait. That is number 6 out of 25. 6 out of 25 on the orange. Lando Norris on the helmet. Lando Norris helmet. That is Lando Norris on the Ray Wave. Future Star Sofia Flores on the Refractor. Yuki Sonoda on the Camber. And that is Arvid Lindblad. Arvid Lindblad on the Refractor. It's interesting, that numbered card is not in its normal spot. Unless there's another one over here. And we do. We have gold. We have a gold over here, guys. Nice. All right, good luck to everybody on the gold. Should be to 50. Alexander Albon. Future Star Sebastian Montoya on the Ray Wave. Oscar Piastri on the Refractor. Guanyu on the helmet. Future Star Martins. Our gold is Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen on the gold Ray Wave. Gold Ray Wave. That is 41 out of 50. 41 out of 50. On the gold Ray Wave. Carlos Sainz Portrait. That's Sergio Perez on the Ray Wave. Charles Leclerc on the refractor. That is Gagnon on the recharged. And that is Kasper Zatuka. Kasper Zatuka on the X-Fractor checkered flag. We got 2 boxes to go. I saw a green Ray Wave to 99 coming. Green Ray Wave to 99. Here we go. Charles Leclerc on the recharged. That is Oscar Piastri on the Ray Wave. Esteban Ocon refractor. Zach Maloney. That is George Russell on the Speed Demons. That is Michael Schumacher on the Legends Ray Wave. Future Star Christian Mansell refractor. Logan Sargent on the helmet. And Mad Max on the refractor. Second half, box 19, Lewis Hamilton Speed Demon. That is Nico Hulkenberg on the Ray Wave. Zach O'Sullivan on the refractor. Kush Maini. Our green is Callum Voisin. Callum Voisin on the Future Stars. That is 51 out of 99. 51 out of 99. Lewis Hamilton on the helmets. Taylor Bernard on the Ray Wave. Vax on the refractor. Carlos Sainz refractor. And Future Stars, Christian Mansell. Christian Mansell, Future Star. That is on the X-Fractor checkered flag. Last box, number 20. Last box. Here we go. You got outbid on Max at the last second. Pineapple. Oh, man. That sucks, Pineapple. It happens to a lot of people, especially in this kind of break and in the wrestling break. The wrestling breaks that I do, guys get outbid at the last second all the time. I'm one of those people that I put my max on there, and if I get outbid by somebody, I get outbid, but I put my max all the time, no matter what I'm bidding on. So that way I don't have to worry about it. If I get outbid, I'm at my max. So it's hard though. It's hard. You got a budget, you want to bid on multiple people, so you don't want to put your max and blow your wad on one person, you know, so I understand that too. I do understand that. So, all right, box number 20. Good luck, everybody. Final box. Remember, all cards ship, so don't have to worry about that. Nico Hulkenberg recharged. That is a Fernando Alonso on the Ray Wave. Kush Manin. I don't know. One time I'll get his name right. I probably got to hear it first. Yuki Tsunoda. Victor Martins. Speed Demon. Theo Portier. That's Matisse Zagazeta. Max on the helmet cam. And Amari Cardiel on the refractor Future Star. Last stack, guys. Here we go. Our last numbered. We'll see. Tsunoda on the Speed Demon. Tsunoda on the Ray Wave. Franco Calapinto on the Future Star Refractor. Max on the Portrait. There it is. It's to $2.99. Our final hit of the break goes to Oliver Behrman to $2.99. That is $2.19, I believe. $2.10. $2.10 out of $2.99. After this, we'll get a recap in. Lando Norris on the helmet. Fittipaldi on the Ray Wave. Browning on the refractor. Tsunoda on the Portrait. And our final X-Fractor checkered flag is Fernando Alonso. Fernando Alonso. Alrighty. Here we go for our recap. X-Fractored checkered flags first. Alonso, Mansell, Satuka, Tsunoda, Perez, Norris, O'Sullivan, Wisnicki, Cordial, Leclerc, Verstappen, again, Fittipaldi, Ocon, Flores, Piastri, Verstappen, Lynn Bolad, Sonoda, and Lewis Hamilton. To 299. To 299 on the Speckles. Behrman, Senna, Albon, Mani, Verstappen, and Fornoli. To 225 on the magenta. Van Hopen, Hulkenberg, Hamilton, Bernard, Maloney. These are to 199 on the aqua. Ocon, Gautier, and Ramos. On the greens to those were to 150. I apologize. 150. To 99 on the greens. Voisin and Pourchaire. On the pinks to 75. Come on. Guanyu and Alonso. Our gold to 50 was Max Verstappen. Our oranges to 25, Alexander Albon. And Gabriel Mini. All right, guys, there's your break. I appreciate you all for being here. Have yourself a great afternoon. I hope to see you again.